already know what you're thinking right now, right? I know what y'all are thinking up here. Damn, crazy dog. You don't stream the Cavs. They win again, convincingly. And you hit us with another one of these streams, huh? Well, let me just say this. If you're new to the channel, you're going to be getting streams like this a lot. Article reviews, rumor videos, which for the Guardians, they just don't do rumors. I could probably count on one hand how many times the Guardians are going to be featured in a tweet from one of the big, was it 5 writers on Twitter? Passan, Rosenthal, Heyman, Morosi, and I guess I could group the beat writers in a freaking thing as well. Yeah, we're not going to be featured much. It's just the way we are. We like to make our moves in silence. Which means, as a content creator for the Guardians, I need to be on my game. Right? Because I'm not going to have a billion rumor videos like for the Cavs or the Browns. But somebody, you already know, video, or if it's like a massive trade, because you know, as we saw last year, if they do make a banger trade, I'll be live for it. Right? But anyways, what's going on, everybody? Crazy Dog back with another very special MLB Free Agency article review for you. And this article today comes to us from the lovely baseball writing staff over at The Athletic as they concocted an article titled Top 50 Free Agents by, essentially talking about the class defined by depth, pretty much. Like, not 50. And what's cool about this article, I love these articles the most because they talk about potential landing spots. Right? These are from writers doing this. This isn't Bleacher Report. This is like legit MLB writers. They actually know ball. We'll see how many times the Guardians are featured. I will say, through all the articles I've through all the articles I've read and looked at, probably say the Guardians have been featured in a few. The most prominent one was the top 50 free agents one I did. What was it? Earlier in the week or last week? Where the Guardians were like listed as a legit possible landing spot, a prediction, like a few times. Most notably for Max freaking Scherzer. Let me tell you something before I get into this. If I check my phone, right? If I'm doing something, maybe streaming a game, and I see a passing tweet talking about Max Scherzer to the Guardians, I'm gonna be like, okay, 1 year deal, probably 10, 12 million, something good. Come pitch in the pitching lab one time. You know, yeah, he's an old man, but he's still pretty damn good. Imagine in a rotation going from facing, like, let's say they go in the rotation Gavin, Scherzer, Tanner, top 3. Yeah, I'd be down. Now, what I'm also going to do in this stream is when I get to the top 50, and because they only listed, I think, 3 potential landing spots. So I'm going to compare those teams at that position. And we'll talk about who's more deserving of said player. So That being said, let's get into it. So, actually, before I get into the video itself, I do have a few things to talk about. First off, we have a couple accolades. Well, we have an accolade to talk about a hiring, and then another article I looked at earlier. So, first off, we got an accolade to go over as I don't even think I put it on here yet. You know what? I got it right here. Let's add it right here, shall we? Yeah, we got to give my manager all kinds of recognition because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, baseball lovers everywhere, my manager, who has now managed 2 full seasons in the major leagues, has won 2 Manager of the Year awards. What's crazy about this year is the fact that he did it despite injuries. And now this gambling thing, which has been going on since Tito was here. Believe it or not. Which really pisses me off because this means that he or they, mainly he who shall not be named, essentially the Guardians version of name redacted, he low-key threw literally the ALCS series for a little bit of money. He was probably doing that garbage all year and pisses me off. And I'm sure it pissed that whole team off too. But despite all that, Stephen Vogt goes out, wins Manager of the Year, and of course, it is now known that he has now lost essentially his 2 right-hand men. His wingmen are gone now. Craig Albertaz is now the manager with Baltimore, and Kai Correa went to go take, I think, a hitting coach job, I think, with the Mets. Now, I gotta start talking about that federal stuff, and my stream starts bugging out. I think one of my favorite video genres to watch on YouTube is that kind of stuff. Watching dumb criminals get snatched up by jump out boys because they have no idea what's coming. Right? To the normal person, it's just people driving around in normal cars. Nothing out of the ordinary. Until they spring into action. Next thing you know, you're surrounded by a bunch of dudes in like soccer mom vans and pickup trucks, and they jump out, grab you, and put you and say, "On the ground, you're under arrest." Me, that must be a fun job to have. Be a jump out boy, right? You're watching these fools out here acting stupid. They don't even know you're there. You're sitting there in a freaking soccer mom van, looking so inconspicuous, like nobody's even paying attention to you, right? Next thing you know, you zoom on up, you open up the door, you jump out, you freaking snatch the criminal, put him in cuffs, and take him away. But yeah, that whole gambling scenario, that whole gambling situation, crazy right now, man. But Andy McKay, of course, he's now the fielding coordinator, which means he'll be in charge of keeping the defense top notch. Anyways, let's take a look at the Mariners free agent list for this year. And I don't think any of their free agents are going to necessarily follow him here. Maybe he could influence a couple of them. That would be cool. I don't know who else is a free agent. Oh, Mitch Garver. We don't need a backup catcher, though. Who else is there? Luke Jackson? No. Eugenio? Stop it. Josh Naylor would be fun as heck, but that's not going to happen. I think that bridge was burned. I don't think he'd want to come back here. I mean, if you think about it, the Guardians front office low-key called him fat. Ferguson wouldn't be a bad reliever. We need reliever help. We need it bad. Like, we need it in the worst way. Mind giving Caleb Ferguson a 1 or 2 year deal? A lefty, right? We don't know what Henches will look like if he's even back. I know they activated him off the 60-day IL, but he ain't back yet. I think there's a certain window when you can put him back. First base, I think, is where they would probably put him. Next to with Kyle, I think. But who knows? They might trade him. There are quite a few players they could trade because they have a logjam in some spots. But outfield, yeah, I mean, you could probably, improve that spot for sure. Center field, you have Chase DeLauder. Right field, George Valera. Left field, of course, Stephen Kwan for the moment. Yeah, this could definitely improve in right field. I love George Valera, but you're going to need someone to platoon with him, probably. It ain't going to be someone expensive. It's not going to be Kyle Tucker. If they do get a right fielder, expect someone lower tier. As far as some potential names, let's take a look at some potential names, courtesy of Fangraphs. Just looking at right field. I mean, obviously, we're not going after Cody Bellinger. We're not going after any of those guys. Duh. You do that, that means you're pretty much saying, we're going to trade Clara. Thinking, some potential options at right field. Is Rob Refsnyder, Charlie Marte, Max Kepler, Tommy Pham, Austin Slater, Jesse Winter wouldn't be bad. James McCormick, Go, Jay, yes, it's got Smaller, and they are. So I was going to say, our credit source results. AAV. I'm thinking like a Max Kepler, Starling Marte, 1 year, $7 million deal. Because again, righty bat. If you want a righty bat straight up, you're probably going to go Starling Marte for platoon. So Miguel Andujar wouldn't be bad either. He'd be even cheaper. 1 year, $5 million. Austin Hayes can play left and right. Any of those guys would work for me. That's if they're content with Valera being the starter. Now, if they want Valera to be the platoon option off the bench, then you could maybe upgrade a bit. Maybe a Bader. I mean, if they want to go right-handed bat. If you want to go just straight up FU, balls to the wall, like I don't give a damn about depth. We need a bat. We need a booming bat. Then swing for the fences. Go for Bellinger, I guess. Go for Tucker. Say, screw that. You could probably get Bellinger and Stone, not have to worry, because he could play all 3 outfield spots. But you're not going to play Valera all 162 games. Not to mention he's had injury issues. Man. Interesting choices, aren't there? Now, you look at first base. Again, like I said. Outfield. Again. But starting pitching. Think we need a starting pitcher? Not necessarily. I mean, look what they did last year. Right? Last year, they went out and they got John Means on a rehab contract pretty much. He only came here to rehab. Kind of like what the Browns did with Nyheim Hines, right? Signed him to a contract, thinking you might get something out of him, and all you got was rehab. Oh well. Just didn't go well, I guess. But you look at their starting pitcher depth chart, obviously heading into next year, Gavin, Tanner, Slade, Parker, Logan. If they're going to sign a starter, my guess is it'll be a third or a fifth starter. So, with that in mind, my potential options: Jose Quintana. I actually saw an article that linked us to him. I'm thinking Jose Quintana, Griffin Canning coming off the injury, classic rehab guy, 2-year deal maybe with a team option. Max Scherzer would just be hilarious. Bring back Ben. Herman Marquez would be cool. Paul Blackburn. Um, Stroman? No. Urquidy? Nah. Tony Gonsolin would be a cool reclamation project, I guess. Zach Eflin? Okay. Bueller? I'd be down for Bueller or John Gray coming off injury. Yeah, not really anything crazy there. So that is our shopping list from Bleacher Report. Now, let's get into the thing that you guys have been waiting for, and the main reason why you clicked on this freaking video or this live stream. Because let's be honest here, you didn't come on here to listen to me talk about Andy McKay or our shopping list. Right? Be serious for a second. Oh, what's this now? I just love it when my group chat shares a post because I never know what it could be. I don't think it's us signing anybody. No, figured as much. Oh, they're just sending tweets. Okay. Wow. Someone sent the tweet of Brent Rooker talking about how Jose Ramirez is his second favorite player. That's funny. That's funny. All right. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes, the schmeat of this video, the main purpose of it, the top 50 from The Athletic. So, of course, starting off with Kyle Tucker. As you see, it lists everything about him: age, position, last team, home runs, OPS, plus, all really good stuff, right? His projection, according to Britain, oh, my nose is itching like crazy, of course. His projection, 12 years, 460. Dodgers, Yankees, Phillies. All three could use him. I said this before. I think it's going to be Yankees or Dodgers. If the Yankees can't bring back Bellinger, I think they go for Tucker. The Dodgers can just throw whack money at everybody if they wanted to. And I think this is going to be one of those guys. I think the Dodgers end up with Kyle Tucker. I do. Kyle Tucker goes to the Dodgers with a deal that's around 12 years, 460. Bo Bichette, by the way, you see the rankings from the staff. Obviously, for Tucker, it's ones across the board. Duh. Overall, best player available by far. Bo Bichette, 18 homers, 129 OPS, 28 years old. He plays shortstop. Best fits: Detroit, Philly, Toronto. I think he stays in Toronto. Toronto would not dare let him leave. But you see his F4 this year, 3.8. Really good, overall season for him. Of course, he did have injury issues. But man, when he was on the dirt, he was good. When he was playing, he was good. 8 years, 212. I see him getting a deal around that neighborhood from the Jays. I think the Jays will do everything possible to keep him. And I think they do. I could see Vlad hitting him up, being like, no, man, you're not leaving. You no leave me, no. But let me move myself over here. Vlad's gonna freaking be like, no, don't leave me. You're not gonna leave me. No, no, no. No, sir. You don't want to split it up. Because remember, they had that big three once upon a time. They had freaking Biggio, Bichette, and Guerrero. Biggio flamed out like nothing. And they're not going to let Bichette leave. No. No. And you know Bichette's going to be extra motivated because he didn't have that great of a year. Kept getting hurt. Wasn't available. I think he's going to have a good year next year. Staff rankings, fourth. For Britain, Gleeman has him second, as Saris, same as Saris. And Jennings has him as fourth. I think he stays in Toronto. But Philly and Detroit very well could throw him an offer he just can't pass up to make him leave. But I think he stays. Next, we have Alex Bregman, 32 years old, third baseman, 18 homers, 128 OPS plus. Remember, he missed a lot of time around the All-Star break because of an injury and didn't have that great of a year stat-wise, obviously because of that, but he's a fantastic player. Boston, Detroit, and Philly, man, you know Detroit's going to be very enticing because AJ Hinch is there, and you add him and you keep Glaber with Baez and Torkelson. That's actually a pretty damn good infield for the Tigers. Can you put his bat in that lineup with Kerry Carpenter and company, Riley Green, Torkelson, and them? Damn. But again, I think Boston's going to be very enticing to keep him around, and I think they will. As you see the rankings, Britain has him second. Gleeman has him sixth. Jennings has him second, and Saris has him third. Wow. Okay. All right. I think he stays in Boston. I could see Detroit, snatching him away. 6 years, 171 million. Yeah, that's easy money for Boston. That's easy money. Next, we have Kyle Schwarber, ranked third by Britain, seventh by Gleeman, third by Jennings, and fourth by Saris. 23 years old. He's a DH, 56 dongs, and a 150 OPS plus. Boston, Cincinnati, and Philly are his options. 5 years, $145 million contract. I think Boston's going to be throwing around stupid money this year. But man, I know Philly's not going to let him leave. But I have him leaving. Yeah, I have him leaving. And I have him going to a spot you don't expect. Not Cleveland, but the other Ohio team. Yeah, that's right. I got him going to Cincinnati. Right? And man, if this actually happens, if the Castellinis actually go out, Nick Kroll goes out and brings in a Schwarber, hometown guy, we'll not hear a word from Dashy slandering them at all. 5 years, 145 mil. I better not hear a bad word about those guys if they bring in Schwarber. No. I'm going to be bold. I think he goes to Cincinnati. That's going to be very enticing. But Boston, he played there before. He was really good. But man, playing in the launch pad, he had 56 homers, mostly at home at Citizens Bank Park. You go to Great American Launch Pad, he could hit 60. He'd be launching balls into the river, maybe even over the river. They're going to be telling people, walking by walking across the river like, hey, yo, watch out, bro. Kyle Schwarber's at the plate. He going to hit a moonshot to Kentucky. He hit it to Lexington. Hit it over the state border. And they're not even going to be lying either. That's what's crazy about it. To mention, he always stung the NL Central when he played for the Cubs. So it'd be funny to see him once again in the Central, but with the Reds, of all teams. That would just be funny to see. And it would probably piss Cubs fans off, too. But yeah, Britton has him third. Gleeman has him seventh. Jennings has him third. Saris has him fourth. I'm only going to do the rankings thing for the top five. So I'm not going to be doing that for everybody. I'd be here for 3 hours doing that. 5 years, $145 million for Britton, from Britton for Schwarber. Yeah, I think Cincinnati throws that kind of money at him. He's the player that you give that money to, and you don't think twice about it. He's kind of old, but he's still really good. So yeah, give Cincinnati Schwarber. Schwarbombs in Cincy. Next we have Framber Valdez, who is ranked 5th by Britton, 4th by Gleeman, 5th by Jennings, and 6th by Saris. He's 32, 192 innings, 114 ERA plus. Pretty good. Best fits, Boston, Baltimore, Toronto. So they got him leaving. 7 years, 196 mil. Gonna go Baltimore. They're gonna throw some money around this year. They have to. They have to. They have to do something. I think they give Valdez in Baltimore, and I think they love it. So give me Valdez to Baltimore. Now we go to the bottom half of the top 10. Dylan Cease, 30 years old, 168 innings, 94 ERA plus. So not great, but not bad. You see his F4 fielding wins against replacement. 6-year, $174 million projected contract. Best fits, Chicago Cubs, Houston, and the Mets. I could see him going back to the Cubs. Fun fact, he was a Cub long ago. Now, he's going to go back, and he's going to wreak havoc with the Cubbies. So give me Cease to the Cubs. By the way, I don't know if I went over Valdez's contract. 7 years, 196. That's a fat-ass contract. There's Dylan Cease. Right? Yeah. He's a good player. He'd be 100% worth that money, too. Give me Cease to the Cubs. Next, we have Pete Alonso. 31 years old, 38 homers, 144 OPS plus. Best fits, Boston, Mets, and Philly. Projected contract, 5 years, 140 mil. That's tough. Because Boston has that young core. I'm going to say he sticks with the Mets. Yeah, I think he stays. Mets keep Alonso. Long term. Next, we have Cody Bellinger. 29 homers, 30 years old, 125 OPS plus. Really good player last year. 4.9 F4 in the last 3 years. 7 years, 182 million. Best fits, Yankees, Phillies, Giants. All three are legit good fits for him. I'm going to say Yankees. They lose out on Tucker. They swing around and they get Cody Bellinger back. That's what they do. They lose out on Tucker. They swoop back around and they get Bellinger. Next, we have the number 9 ranked player, Ranger Suarez. 6 years, 153 million. You see last year, 157 in the third innings, 137 ERA plus, 30 years old. He had a 4 F4 last year. Really good stuff. Baltimore, Boston, Houston are his best fits. Baltimore gets Valdez. Boston gets Ranger Suarez here. Give me Boston for Ranger Suarez. Boston. All right, next we have the last member of the top 10, Tatsuya Imai. That's a name that you go up to the toppest hill in your area, and when he has a big game, you just go up to that top of that hill or whatever. You go up to the rooftop, and in your most fluent Japanese accent, you just yell at the top of your lungs, Tatsuya! Ah! Bring out the sword. Ah! Looking like it sound like a damn freaking lunatic samurai. People be like, "Yo, sir, what's up with you?" Nothing. Tatsuya Imai just pitched a perfect game. Damn it, he's amazing. They'd be like, "Well, that's good to know. You're under arrest." Do disturbing the peace. What do you mean? It's 3 a.m., sir. You're on your roof screaming some random guy's name who we know doesn't know you exist, and you essentially woke up the entire neighborhood. Oh, damn. Well, feel like, am I under arrest? No, just go back to bed. You freaking lunatic. On a serious note, 8 years, 190 million, best fits, Cubs, Mets, Dodgers. Surprise, surprise. All big markets. 28 years old, 163 and two-third innings, 192 ERA plus in Japan. Standard ERA, I guess. Um, they lost Shota, so I think they replaced Shota with Tatsuya. Yeah, I'm gonna go Cubs. Get Tatsuya. Awesome name that is. That's such an awesome name to say. You know, Tatsuya. His last name is Amai, which it's gonna be fun hearing people try to say like Amai, 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 Imi. It's Amai. I mean, who cares? Yeah, I got him going to the Cubs. There's 190 mil. It's about right. Suya. Okay, that's enough. So that rounds out the top 10. Next, we go to number 11, Edwin Diaz. I think he's going to stay with the Mets. But if he doesn't, I could see him going to the Dodgers. Because, well, of course they would. Their bullpen was stinky butt cheeks last year. They need to fix it. And I think they go hard. They go out, they get Edwin Diaz to be their closer. If not, Kenley Jensen. But yeah, I could see Edwin Diaz going there and being an absolute stud for them. 32 years old, 66 in the third innings, 248 ERA plus. Pretty good. Had a 2 F4 last year, or this past season. His contract projection 4 years, 84 million. Not bad. But give me the Dodgers for Edwin Diaz. All right, Michael King. I think from this point on, I'm just going to go through the projected contract and his best fits. You guys can see everything else. I know y'all ain't blind. So, Michael King, he's going to be one of the best available pitchers. 3 years, $75 million projected contract. That's $25 million a year. Best fits: Boston, Detroit, and Mets. I'm gonna say Detroit. You know, Tarek Skubal just won another Cy Young. I think they fortify their rotation even more with a Michael King to go with Flaherty and Skubal. And yeah, they actually try to make a push for a World Series next year for sure. Right? You have to. Because that could very well be the last year you have Skubal. So gotta take advantage. So I think they get Michael King and they make a three-headed monster at the top of the rotation. With Casey Mize up there too. Don't forget. And then Jackson Job should be back at some point, right? Eventually. And then you have Reese Olson as well, and some other guys, I'm sure. But yeah, I got Britain going to the Tigers. Next, we have Shota Imanaga. 1 year, $22 million projected contract. Again, Detroit, San Fran, and Toronto. I'm going to have him going to Toronto. Yep. Give me Toronto for Shota. Next, Josh Naylor. Now, this is the first guy that I could realistically see the Guardians matched for. I don't think he will be, but hey, that'd be funny as hell if he is. And he's not, surprisingly, of course. Not surprisingly. 4 years, $92 million projected contract. San Diego, Seattle, Texas are his teams. So they think 2/3 are a possible homecoming to San Diego or Seattle. Go back to San Diego where he started his career. Go back to Seattle where he was last year. Or he goes to Texas. I think Seattle's going to do whatever they can to keep him. And I think they succeed. Give me Seattle for Josh Naylor. Next we have Gleyber Torres. Detroit. Yeah, he's going to go back to Detroit. Not even going to mess around there. He's going back to Detroit. Going back to Detroit. 3 years, $48 million projected contract. You know, I think he's going back to D-Town, Detroit. Yeah. Man, if he does, that means they could possibly have Bregman, Ayaz, Glaber, and Torkelson in the infield. That's damn good, too. Sheesh. Wow. How about that, huh? The worst nightmare for the AL Central is Chris Ilitch developing what I call spender's syndrome, where he just goes off and spends a ton of money throwing money at people. EMAP syndrome. Throw money at people syndrome. He develops TMAP. Throw money at people. You could say Team May too. Throw money at everything, at everyone. You know, he experiences a little bit of winning. They had the Division One for like most of the year until the very end when the Guardians snatched it from right under their nose at the very last second. They're going to be like, we're not going to let that happen again. They're going to try and take the initiative and win the division for real next year. And I think they could. But I got Glaber going back to Detroit. 3 years, 48. Sounds reasonable. Next, we have Eugenio Suarez. And much like Josh Naylor, I have him going back to Seattle. But if not, I have him going to Miami. Because they want to throw money around it all of a sudden. But man, imagine he goes to Pittsburgh. That would be interesting. Right? 3 years, $69 million. Nice. But I got him going back to Seattle. Yep. They're going to do everything they can to bring back that core that they have. But give me Suarez to Seattle. 3 years, $69 million. Nice. Munetaka Murakami, Boston, Chicago Cubs, and Toronto. 8 years, $158.5 million. They call him the Japanese Babe Ruth. I think he's going to go to Boston. Out of those 3 teams. Boston, the Cubs, and Toronto. Yeah, give me Boston. They could put him at third base to replace Bregman. Next, Brandon Woodruff, Atlanta, Milwaukee, and Mets. 2 years, $40 million. I think he goes back to Milwaukee, but if not, I could see Atlanta being the option. Right? Didn't play in 2024, I don't think. He didn't really do much this past year. I think he goes to Milwaukee. I think he stays. Next, we have Devin Williams, Arizona, Miami, San Francisco. 1 year, $18 million. I got him going to San Francisco. Yeah. Go play out west. 1 year, 18. You know, chance to get you back up there and show everybody that you are actually still a good pitcher. It's just New York is a tough place to play, especially in that ballpark. You go from the fun house in the Bronx to one of the most pitcher friendly ballparks out there. You know, the place with Triples Alley. You know, it's hard as heck to hit homers in that park. I think I think he goes to San Francisco. 1 year, 18 million. Next we have Merrill Kelly, Arizona, Atlanta, San Diego. 2 years, 46. I think he stays in Arizona. Well, he goes back to Arizona technically. But yeah, I got him going back to the Diamondbacks. Next we have Zach Gallen. Again, got him going back to Arizona. But I am sure Baltimore will be very enticing for him. 2 years, 42. Yep, I could see that. I could see him going back to Arizona. But if not, I'm going to say Baltimore. Jorge Polanco, 2 years, 35 million. Again, Seattle's going to bring him back. Not wasting any time there. They're going to bring him back. They're going to do everything possible to bring back their guys. They'd be dumb not to. Straight up. They're going to try and bring back their entire core. They'd be beyond smart to do that. They have to. Okay, there we are. All right, next up, after Polanco, we have Robert Suarez. 3 years, $54 million. Best fits Arizona, Angels, and San Francisco. I'm going to say the Angels. They like to throw money at people. That's what Artie Moreno does. And I think they do that with Robert Suarez. Innings pitched 69 and 2/3. Nice. Very nice. Nobody's earned more saves than Suarez's 76 over the last 2 seasons, and the right-hander combined a stronger strikeout rate with the lowest walk rate of his career. Yep, that's what they need. They need that at the back end of their bullpen in LA. So give me the Angels, 3 years, $54 million for Suarez. JT Realmuto goes back to Philadelphia, but if not, I could see Texas being an option or Washington. I could see it, but I'm going to say Philadelphia, 3 years, 45. Back to Philly. Mike Grisham comes in at 25. We're halfway through. Dodgers, New York Yankees, and San Francisco, 3 years, $54 million. I think it depends on what happens with Cody Bellinger, but I could see them bringing him back. If not, I'm gonna say San Francisco for Trent Grisham, but I'll say the Yankees bring him back. Notice we're halfway through, not one mention of the Guardians yet. First baseman Kazuma Okamoto, Boston, Cubs, and Mets, 4 years, $78 million. I'm gonna say the Mets bring him in if they lose out on Alonso, if he leaves. But I'm gonna say the Cubs go out and get him. Yeah. Yep. Cubs get Kazuma and Tatsuya. So yeah, give me Kazuma to the Cubs. Ryan Helsley, 1 year, 16 million. Best fits Detroit, St. Louis, and Washington. You know, I know they're not mentioned here, but with Clase being a dum-dum, and we kind of need a frontline closer because I don't know if we can trust Cade Smith to do it. If they're going to look for an outside closer to put Cade back in his setup role, I wouldn't mind Helsley on a cheap 1 year deal. Let him rebuild his stock in the pitching lab, the notorious Guardians pitching lab. That'd be a really good way to rebuild his resume and show the league I'm not a bad pitcher. I just had a horrible time in New York, just like Devin Williams. Allow him to have a resurgence with a pitching team like us, with Carl Willis. But I think he's going to go either back to St. Louis or Detroit. I'm going to say Detroit. Detroit gets Helsley. 28, Ryan O'Hearn. Baltimore, Miami, Washington. 2 years, 36 million. If Miami's willing to throw money around, I could see them doing it. But I'm going to say Washington's going to swoop in and take him. Baltimore. I could see that happening too. But I'm going to say Washington of these three teams. That's my bold prediction there. Washington gets O'Hearn. Ha-Sung Kim, Atlanta, Detroit, and Toronto. 3 years, 50 million. Well, it depends on what they want to do, but I'm going to say Atlanta keeps him around. Yeah. I think Atlanta keeps him. Lucas Giolito comes in at 30. Boston, San Francisco, and Washington. 3 years, 57 million. I'm going to go San Francisco. Giolito to San Francisco. Chris Bassett, Atlanta, Boston, Toronto. He stays in Toronto. 2 years, 46 million. I think he stays. Harrison Bader, Cleveland, Dodgers, and Phillies were mentioned. 2 years, 32 million. Considering what we need, because we have DeLauder, but you don't want to throw him out there full time. They're going to platoon him. Bader's the perfect fit. I'm going to say the Guardians go out and they get Harrison Bader. 2 years, 32. I could see it. I could see it. Yep. He'd be a perfect bat for this team, too. Just enough power in that bat for him for this lineup. I wouldn't mind it. Bader to the Guards. And I celebrate. Luis Arias, White Sox, Colorado, and Washington. 2 years, 30 million. I'm going to say Chicago White Sox get him. Of those three teams, Arias has been stinking it up. He gets back in the Central, and he wreaks havoc like he always did with Minnesota. I got him going to Chicago White Sox. And then when he's out here killing it on a resurgent year, on a bad team, where he carries, I think he gets traded and he blossoms with his other team. But I got him going to Chicago. Zach Eflin, Baltimore, Detroit, San Diego, 1 year, 17 million. Baltimore. Yep, I got him going back to Baltimore. Mike Yastrzemski, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, 1 year, 11 million. I could see Kansas City bringing him back. Pittsburgh would be an interesting option. Then again, so would Cincy. I'm going to say Kansas City snatches him and brings him back. Brad Keller, Cubs, Yankees, and Rangers. Yankees are going to throw money at this guy if they have to. And I think they will. Yep. Yankees get Brad Keller for the bullpen. By the way, that is a 3 year, $30 million deal for Keller in New York. Zach Littell, Cleveland, Colorado, and Washington. We're mentioned again. I think we do this. 2 years, 20 million. That's doable. He's the perfect 4 or 5 starter for us. To be fair, yeah, it is. Because you'd have Gavin, Bybee, Messick, Slade, and Littell. That's perfect. You could put Logan Allen in the pen, or you could trade him. It's not simple. 2 years, 20 million, and Littell has a monster year with us. Guardians get Littell. Marcell Ozuna, Miami. Makes too much sense. I think he goes to Miami, where he started. 1 year, 14 million. Yep. He goes back to Miami. Cedric Mullins, Baltimore Angels and Phillies. 1 year, 11 million. I think he either goes to the Angels or the O's again. I think he probably goes back to the O's. Yeah, because he loved it there. So I think he goes back to Baltimore. Weaver comes in at 40. Atlanta, New York, and Texas. 2 years, 19 million. I think the Dream Weaver goes back to the Yankees. Yeah. Weaver to the Yankees. 2 years, 19 mil. Max Scherzer, Atlanta, Detroit, and San Francisco. Easy choice for him. He goes back to Detroit. 1 year, 14 million. Back to Detroit. Dustin May, White Sox, Minnesota, and Washington. I think he's going to take a 2 year, $26 million deal, like it says here. Minnesota. I think they trade Joe Ryan, and in turn, they go out and get Dustin May. Yeah. They might even trade Pablo, too. But I think Dustin May goes to the Twins. Rhys Hoskins, Colorado, Minnesota, Washington. 1 year, 10 million. This is another guy I would love to see the Guardians go after for first base. He has a lot of power in that bat. He's a perfect platoon bat, too. Right? But I think he's going to go to Colorado. They're actually going to throw money at somebody, and it'll be Rhys Hoskins. Rhys to the Rockies. Danny Jansen, Philly, Tampa, Texas. I'm going to have him going back to Tampa. 1 year, 8 million. Yep, back to Tampa. Raisel Iglesias, Atlanta, Cincinnati, Miami. Back to Atlanta. Yeah, 2 years, 24 million. He's going to go back to Atlanta. Final five, we have Kenley Jensen at 46. Chicago Cubs, San Francisco, St. Louis. 1 year, 10 million. The Dodgers, if given the chance, but I'm going to say he goes to the Cubs. Yep. I got him going to the Cubs. 1 year, 10 million. That sounds about right. Sir Anthony Dominguez, Arizona, Detroit, Miami. 2 years, 17 million. Detroit. I'll say Detroit for Sir Anthony. Willie Castro, Detroit, San Diego, Seattle. 1 year, 8 million. I'm going to say San Diego for Willie. Emilio Pagan, Baltimore, Cincinnati, LA, Angels. 1 year, 9 million. He's going to go back to the Cincinnati Reds to be their closer. And yeah. And then finally, Michael Kopech, Atlanta, Boston, Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, yeah, that's the Athletics. Wow. You know what? I'm going to be nice to Oakland or Sacramento here. I'm going to give them one. I'm going to give them Michael Kopech. So there you go. There you go. What's this article? The names to know, the teams with the most urgency. What's this? All right, guys, I'm going to turn this off. All right. So that is my article. Just about an hour in. Not too shabby. Yeah, until the final week of November. Huh. Hmm. Okay. But that's going to wrap it up for this one, guys. Figured I'd, crank out a quick article review for you. Haha. Let me know what you guys think. And be sure, as always, to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell. Interesting names out there. The Guardians were mentioned a few times. It'd be interesting to see what we would do. I'd be down with the guys that they mentioned, right? Zach Littell would be just the classic Guardian acquisition, right? Harrison Bader, too. Bader and Littell would not be a bad offseason for us in terms of free agency. And then maybe they go out and they trade for another bet somewhere. Who knows? Or maybe we do absolutely nothing and they piss me off again. I don't think they do that. I think they actually make some moves. Just a gut feeling, though. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. Have a good rest of your night. I will see you guys tomorrow for Cavs and Raptors. I know the Cavs won tonight, despite the fact they were missing 3 of their 5 legit starters. Great game overall by the bench mob, especially the G Leaguers, right? Good game. And now let's see if they can beat the crap out of Toronto, right? That'd be awesome. But I'll be live for that game tomorrow, back in Cleveland. So with that being said, I will see you all tomorrow. Let's go Cavs. Go Guardians, of course. And go Browns, too. Can't forget about them or the Blue Jackets. See you guys later. I'm Crazy Dog. Let's go Guards. And I'm out. Bye-bye. Yeah. Oh, yeah.